My name is Mark, a night shift taxi driver. Last night, something strange happened to me, despite my carefulness and the two rules I set for myself. First, after midnight, I never pick up passengers wearing red, especially women. Second, I never touch ghost money. But some things you can't simply avoid, no matter how hard you try. Exhausted from my night shift, I pulled into a late-night eatery for some wontons. Old Man Meng's wonton shop was practically a fortress for us night shift taxi drivers. The moment I walked in, I spotted Mr. Zhang. Mr. Zhang was a veteran night shift driver, well known in our circle, always wearing a large golden Buddha amulet around his neck to ward off evil. Now, his face was ashen, sweat pouring down, and despite the cold, he was trembling uncontrollably. Before I could even ask what was wrong, he suddenly looked up as if he'd seen a ghost. "Mark, I've seen a ghost." I saw his hand, clutching a cigarette, shaking violently. I called the owner over for a bowl of wontons for myself, then lit Zhang's cigarette. "What happened to scare you so badly?" I asked. Mr. Zhang stammered, taking a deep drag from his cigarette. "The first half of the night was fine," he recounted, "but in the latter half I picked up a woman." I quickly interjected, "She wasn't wearing red, was she?" Mr. Zhang shook his head, flicked his cigarette butt to the ground, stomped it out, then pulled out another to light. "No, I got the bowl of wontons the owner brought, took a sip of the hot broth, then asked him, so what was strange about her?" The owner, overhearing, eyed me strangely. "What did you say?" I shook my head at him, realizing I'd broken a taboo. Embarrassed, I muttered, "Sorry, nothing." The owner then walked away. Mr. Zhang patted my shoulder and continued, "But the woman was wearing red tights and red high heels." A sudden chill ran down my arm, raising goosebumps. Mr. Zhang saw my reaction and understood I grasped the gravity of the situation, so he pressed on. After the woman got into the car, I noticed in the rearview mirror that her destination was the old brick factory on the western outskirts. Now I understood Mr. Zhang's fear. The brick factory on the western outskirts had been abandoned for a long time due to a murder. In fact, it was practically deserted. Moreover, the factory owner who died was a woman, a beautiful woman whose cause of death was unclear. Some said she was murdered by an employee, others by a lover. In short, she was pushed into the brick kiln and burned to death. This incident had caused quite a stir in our county. I quickly tried to comfort him. "Mr. Zhang, maybe you're overthinking it. Isn't there still a village near the brick factory? The woman could have been from there." Mr. Zhang waved his hands frantically. "Impossible, absolutely impossible." He grew agitated, his eyes wide as he stared at me. "If she was from the village, why would she have me drop her off directly at the brick factory instead of taking her all the way to the village? And look at this." My heart jumped as I saw what he held in his hand. Green. Under the dim light, the color looked even more bizarre. Ghost money. I suddenly remembered something and quickly pulled my chair back a few steps. Night shift drivers absolutely must not touch ghost money. Taking it will lead to big trouble. Mr. Zhang's face was filled with terror. He tremblingly asked me, "Mark, you see it too, right? Damn it, I was so scared I abandoned my car and ran straight back here." Seeing my silence, he grew even more anxious. "Mark, what should I do now? How about you come with me? You can drive me back towards the brick factory. I have to get my car back, otherwise, what will I do tomorrow?" Mr. Zhang finished, looking at me expectantly. I hesitated, thinking of the brick factory. Mr. Zhang seemed to sense my reluctance, pulled out 200 yuan from his pocket, and handed it to me. "Brother, please help me. I really don't dare go alone." I checked my watch. It was almost 5:00 a.m. I had just over 2 hours until my shift handover. A quick trip to the brick factory wouldn't take much time. I stood up and said, "Let's go right now." Mr. Zhang, seeing my agreement, was overjoyed and thanked me repeatedly. Since I'd taken his money, I decided to treat Mr. Zhang to these 2 bowls of wontons. I placed the money for both bowls on the table, told the owner, and then led Mr. Zhang to my car. Mr. Zhang sat in the passenger seat, constantly wiping sweat from his brow. As the car pulled away, I thought I heard the owner call out something, perhaps that I'd overpaid for 1 bowl of wontons. Could it be that Mr. Zhang had already paid? I didn't think much of it. My priority was Mr. Zhang. He was still shaking uncontrollably, clearly not yet recovered. I drove and Mr. Zhang directed me. The The closer we got to the brick factory, the more tense Mr. Zhang became. The car entered a pitch-black area, eerily silent, with only the roar of the engine echoing. The air was thick with the smell of damp earth, mixed with a strange, indescribable odor. I couldn't help but shiver. Mr. Zhang suddenly pointed outside and yelled, "Mark, look at the side of the road. The side of the road is pitch black, just empty wasteland. I don't see anything at all." "What do you see?" I couldn't help but ask. Mr. Zhang's breathing was ragged, as if he was suffocating. He stammered, "A SH shadow, don't you see it? A blurry black SH shadow." His startled gasps made my skin crawl too. I gripped him. There wasn't a single light on the roadside. In such a desolate place, how could he see a person's shadow? Could it be that something truly foul was watching us? The moment this thought crossed my mind, I suddenly heard a asterisk thump, thump, thump like someone knocking on the car door. My heart constricted. I quickly looked towards the door, but outside it was pitch black, nothing there. Yet the knocking continued. What's going on?" My voice trembled. I slammed the accelerator. Mr. Zhang's face turned ghostly white. He pointed at the rear window. "Be behind us too." Damn it, I regret this. I shouldn't have been greedy for that 200 yuan. What if it really was a female ghost? Wouldn't I be dragged into this too? Suddenly, a asterisk creak, creak, creak sound echoed like something scraping. My heart clenched. I looked around. The sound grew louder and clearer, seemingly coming from the radio. I reached out to turn it off, but it was useless. The radio seemed out of control, continuously emitting the creaking sound, mixed with a woman's voice. Mr. Zhang's face was filled with terror. "Mark, what is that?" "Calm down," I shouted, trying to keep my own composure. Mr. Zhang seemed to go mad, gripping the car door and screaming, "Don't come here, don't come here, don't find me, I was wrong, please spare me." My forehead was slick with cold sweat. I drove while scanning my surroundings. Suddenly, Mr. Zhang let out a piercing scream. "Blood, blood!" My heart lurched. I followed his gaze. Damn it! There was a bloody handprint on the car window. The bloody handprint appeared right on the window next to Mr. Zhang, terrifying him even further. "He's shrinking away from me," Mr. Zhang mumbled. "He said he was wrong." What does that mean? That woman got into his car and got off at the brick factory. He was so scared he abandoned his car. Could it be? A terrifying thought rose in my mind. Could Mr. Zhang know her? Or, in other words, was her death related to Mr. Zhang? Otherwise, why would he say I was wrong like that? My gaze shifted to Mr. Zhang. His face was devoid of color, his body trembling, continuously crying out, "Spare me, spare me." The bloody handprints multiplied, almost covering the entire car window. Seeing the marks on the front windshield, my forehead was drenched in cold sweat. I drove while asking Mr. Zhang, "Is there something you're hiding?" The moment the words left my mouth, Mr. Zhang went mad, his face contorted in a furious yell. "No, I wasn't wrong, it was all her fault." You say it wasn't your fault? Look at you right now, do you look like someone who wasn't at fault?" I couldn't help but curse. According to Mr. Zhang, the bloody handprints were increasing, even on the car's roof windshield. The eerie singing from the radio grew louder and louder, as if something was lurking inside the car. Mr. Zhang had collapsed. He stammered and screamed, That slut wasn't a virgin either. Dressing so provocatively, with so many lovers, what's she pretending to be pure for? And me, she dared to call the police to arrest me." "What exactly did you do to her?" I roared. Mr. Zhang's face was pale as he continued to scream. I just touched her a few times. I didn't mean to do anything to her. She seduced me. She always put her arm around those men. So what if I touched her a few times? This woman still pretended to be chaste and innocent. "Just touched her a few times?" My eyes widened. Mr. Zhang's voice trembled. She screamed and threatened to call the police. I just covered her mouth to stop her from screaming. I didn't intend to kill her. She killed herself." Damn it, this bastard. Mr. Zhang's words instantly dropped the temperature in the car to freezing point. The radio's sound grew even louder, the mournful singing almost piercing my eardrums. The bloody handprint seemed alive, slowly crawling across the car windows, even spreading inside the car. "Ow, arg!" Mr. Zhang let out a tragic scream, frantically scratching at himself with both hands. He shrieked in terror, "She's crawling up! She's crawling up! She's on me! Help me! Mark, save me!" I turned my head to look and nearly wet myself. From nowhere, a black smoke appeared inside the car. The black smoke, as if a physical entity, slowly coiled around Mr. Zhang's body. His face was ghastly pale, his features twisted, still screaming, "I wasn't wrong! I wasn't wrong! Spare me! Spare me!" Suddenly, the black smoke moved and slowly dissipated. Immediately after, a shadowy figure flickered into view. It was a woman, appearing between the driver's and passenger's seats. She was practically right next to us. A blast of cold air shot straight to my head, scaring me so much I almost crashed the car into the guardrail. I gritted my teeth, trying to control my trembling hands. I glanced at the woman, noticing she was bowing her head, her hair almost entirely obscuring her face. She wore a charred dress, large patches of burnt skin exposed, faintly revealing blackened flesh. The female ghost slowly lifted her head, revealing a face so burnt it was disfigured. Her mouth emitted a cackling sound like she was laughing, yet also like she was wailing. The woman's voice, distorted, echoed, "Zhang Fa, why did you repay kindness with evil?" Note, Zhang Fa is Mr. Zhang's full name, revealed by the ghost. I'll use his full name now for clarity. Mr. Zhang trembled all over, finally collapsing. A foul stench of feces and urine wafted up, making me nearly vomit. Mr. Zhang cried out, "I only accidentally covered her mouth and killed her. This can't be blamed on me." The woman still had her back to me. Immediately after, Mr. Zhang became abnormal. He became agitated, his hands gripping his own throat, his voice hoarse and strange, not like Mr. Zhang's at all. He said, "I was pregnant with your child. Not only did you harm me, you killed me. You even slandered my boyfriend, claiming he killed me. Zhang Fa, today you must pay with your life." By the end, the voice became extremely distorted, almost piercing my eardrums. As the voice finished, Mr. Zhang's eyes suddenly bulged, blood even trickling from the corners of his mouth. Immediately after, his hands gripped his throat even tighter. His neck was being strangled by himself, tighter and tighter, his eyes protruding, his tongue lolling out, looking like he was about to suffocate. Just then, a strange light suddenly flashed on Mr. Zhang's neck. It seemed to be his large golden Buddha amulet. As if in a final burst of life, he used his last ounce of strength to point at me, croaking, "It wasn't me, it was him. He's the real Zhang Fa." The moment these words were uttered, the woman showed a look of doubt, her hands loosening their grip on Mr. Zhang's neck slightly. My heart leaped. Damn it, what does this dog mean? Does he want to frame me? Indeed, the next second, the woman slowly turned her head. Only then did I clearly see her face. It was so charred that her flesh was practically dust. Her eyeballs protruded, and from the corners of her mouth, charred skin hung down, faintly revealing her pale teeth. She stared at me like that, her eyes full of venomous hatred. Her gaze sent shivers down my spine. My shirt was instantly drenched in cold sweat. I quickly yelled, "Don't listen to his nonsense. He's the real Zhang Fa." The woman said nothing, her charred face continuously advancing towards me. I could even smell a pungent, burning odor mixed with the putrid smell of rotting flesh, making me nearly vomit. I screamed, instinctively reaching out to push her away. I couldn't control my body anymore. The car also started to swerve. The curve ahead was unavoidable. A tree grew closer and closer in my line of sight. Crash, the car slammed violently into the tree. The enormous impact deformed the entire front of the car. The airbags deployed. My head hit hard, my vision swam, and in my ears the car alarm blared, mixed with the smell of leaking gasoline. I endured the intense pain, looked up. The woman was gone. But my hands were uncontrollably tightening around my own throat. The posture was exactly like Mr. Zhang's earlier. My neck was being squeezed tighter and tighter by my own hands. I felt my throat was about to be crushed. The car door on Mr. Zhang's side opened, and he was slowly crawling out. I couldn't control my hands. "No, I can't die." A powerful will to survive made me scream hoarsely. "Let go of me, I'm still a virgin. It must be that bastard Zhang Fa." The moment the words left my mouth, Mr. Zhang, who was struggling to get out, turned his head, a look of surprise on his face. I noticed the large golden Buddha statue hanging around his neck was deformed from the impact. The Buddha's eyeballs were gone. Mr. Zhang struggled desperately, almost out of the car. Just then, my hands suddenly regained control. The woman appeared in front of me, her face inches from mine. I held my breath and snarled, "If you don't believe me, investigate." I really am a virgin. With that, I even unzipped my pants. The black smoke swirling around the female ghost slowly drifted in front of me, looking me up and down. A moment later, the black smoke dispersed, and the female ghost let out a piercing shriek, abruptly turning and rushing out. The pungent stench, coupled with extreme fear, made my stomach clench. I couldn't help but bend down and vomit. From behind came Mr. Zhang's desperate, tragic cries. My vomiting aggravated the injuries from the airbag impact, making me wince in pain. I spewed a mouthful of saliva mixed with blood, wiped my mouth, and looked back. Mr. Zhang was no longer moving. He slumped in the car seat, his hands hanging limply, his eyes wide open, his face frozen in an expression of extreme horror at the moment of death. His neck had been brutally broken by his own hands. I thought it was all over, but the moment Mr. Zhang died, the temperature in the car plummeted, making me shiver violently. I clutched my still aching neck, forcefully kicked open the deformed car door, and prepared to crawl out. Just then, I felt a chill down my spine, as if something was staring at me from the darkness. A cold gust of wind blew past, making the hairs on my neck stand on end. I painstakingly turned my head. The sight almost scared me to death. Mr. Zhang's corpse was slowly contorting, his joints even making crunching sounds. Immediately after, a black gas billowed out from his 7 orifices, gradually coalescing into a hazy human form inside the car. The black gas slowly solidified into the shape of a human face. It was Mr. Zhang. At this moment, his face was ferocious, filled with venomous hatred, his eyes bloodshot, staring at me. He gritted out a sentence. "Why didn't you help me? You deserve to die. Deserve to die. You took my money, so you should die in my place. Damn it, 200 yuan for my life? This wretched old man has turned into a ghost." With that, he suddenly lunged at me. I recoiled in horror, scrambling to get out, but the damned seatbelt was stuck. Seeing Mr. Zhang about to reach me, his sharp teeth poised to bite my neck. In this critical moment, a black shadow suddenly rushed forward, blocking him from me. It was the woman. The black smoke from her body collided violently with Mr. Zhang's dark aura, emitting a piercing shriek. The temperature in the car instantly dropped to freezing point. I took the opportunity to unbuckle my seatbelt, forcefully pushed open the deformed car door, stumbled out onto the roadside, leaned against a tree, and vomited violently, almost expelling my guts. I looked up. The woman and Mr. Zhang were still tearing at each other. They were clearly 2 masses of black smoke, but I could hear a gnashing sound, faintly mixed with the crunching of bones. A woman's face appeared in the black smoke. The woman opened her mouth, spewing out a large plume of black smoke that tightly wrapped around Mr. Zhang, continuously constricting him. A guttural roar, not human, emanated from the black smoke. "Zhang Chillify, I won't forgive you even as a ghost." Immediately after, Mr. Zhang's desperate cries echoed. My vision blurred. Enduring the discomfort, I ran along the highway. A blinding light swept across. I only had time to hear a screeching brake. Damn it, a large truck. Seeing the vehicle about to crash into me, I couldn't avoid it. Only one thought flashed through my mind: it's over. I closed my eyes in despair. In my ears, the deafening brakes screeched, along with a powerful gust of wind sweeping across my face. Then I fainted. When I opened my eyes again, everything was white. I instinctively raised my hand to shield them. A sharp pain shot through the back of my hand. I looked down, a needle was stuck in the back of my hand, and medication dripped from the IV bag. I looked around. It was a hospital ward with other patients receiving infusions. "What's going on? I'm not dead. Who saved me?" Just then, a nurse walked in from outside the door. Seeing me awake, she let out a cry and quickly ran out. Doctor, he's awake?" I was stunned, intending to ask, but a dull pain radiated from my head. I couldn't help but groan. This pain felt too real. Could all of that have just been a dream? Just then, the room door was pushed open, and a familiar figure walked in. It was Mr. Liu, my night shift colleague. Seeing me awake, his face lit up with joy. He patted my shoulder. "Kid, you're truly blessed with a strong life. You almost met the king of hell." I rubbed my temple, confused. "Mr. Liu, why am I here?" Mr. Liu's expression stiffened, then he looked hesitant. "It's a long story. The police will be here soon. You can tell them yourself." "The police?" I was stunned. Before I could ask, 2 police officers pushed the door open and walked in, their faces serious. "Mark, is that right? Zhang Chillify died in your taxi. There are fingerprints around his neck, and the cause of death was a fractured neck, not caused by the car accident. Can you explain? Hearing this, I was momentarily stunned, then agitatedly defended myself. It wasn't me. I really didn't kill him. It was Zhang Fa himself. He turned into a vengeful spirit. I frantically recounted everything that had happened last night. After listening, the two police officers exchanged glances, their expressions strange. What you're saying is too bizarre. We can't believe it. The older officer sighed. It's best if you confess honestly. You can't explain this clearly. Damn it, that bastard is dead and still wants to frame me. Just then, Mr. Liu stepped forward, his face full of worry. Officers, Mark and I have worked together for a long time. This kid has an upright character. He absolutely wouldn't kill anyone. There must be something hidden in this matter. The police officer frowned at Mr. Liu and said, "Do you have any evidence to support what you're saying?" I stood there, speechless for a moment. Evidence? Where can I find evidence? Am I supposed to summon those two ghosts to confront them? Mr. Liu saw my silence and grew even more worried, slapping his thigh. Officers, Mark served in the military and achieved many honors. His character is absolutely trustworthy. Suddenly, an idea flashed in my mind. I abruptly looked up, agitatedly saying, "Yes, I have evidence." Mr. Liu was stunned for a moment, then overjoyed. "What evidence?" "My car has a dashcam installed. Not only can it record the driving process, but it can also record audio," I quickly explained. "Just check what the camera recorded, and it can prove that what I said is true." The moment the words left my mouth, I saw Mr. Liu's uneasy expression. My heart clenched, a bad premonition washing over me. "Mr. Liu, what's wrong? Is there a video in the car to watch?" Mr. Liu sighed, a hint of reluctance in his voice. The car crashed into the tree, leaked gasoline, and caught fire. By the time the fire department arrived, only a burnt-out shell remained. There's nothing left. I felt like I'd been struck by lightning. What the hell now? I'm screwed for sure. No, that's not right. There's still hope. The dashcam I installed had a cloud upload function. It could store recordings for a month. Back then, Mr. Liu even told me it was a waste of money to install such a thing, saying a dashcam was useless. I didn't listen to him and paid for it out of my own pocket. I still clearly remembered the account and password. Immediately, I grasped this ray of hope and quickly explained the situation to the police. "Cloud upload?" The police officers frowned. "If that's true, it would be important evidence." Not long after, a police officer walked in holding a laptop. I took it and entered my account and password. Fortunately, the recordings were still there. I clicked download, then showed it to the police. Watching the blue progress bar steadily advance, my heart was also hanging by a thread. After everything downloaded, I clicked play. From the moment Mr. Zhang got into the car, his terrified directions. In the video, both inside and outside the car, there was nothing. No bloody handprints that I saw, and certainly no sight of the woman. Only at the very end did Mr. Zhang appear to have an epileptic fit, flailing wildly in the passenger seat, continuously letting out piercing screams. I stared at the screen, my forehead slick with cold sweat. Mr. Liu looked at me with an astonished expression, as if asking what the hell this was. The two police officers also exchanged glances, momentarily silent. Until Mr. Zhang actively said in the video, "That slut wasn't a virgin either. Dressing so provocatively with so many lovers, what's she pretending to be pure for? And me, she dared to call the police to arrest me." Both police officers' expressions changed. They looked at me with puzzled faces and asked, "What does he mean by that?" I stared at Mr. Zhang's disgusting face in the video, my expression indignant. "Officers, you need to reinvestigate the old case of the brick factory owner's murder." The older police officer quickly asked, "Are you saying?" I didn't need to answer. In the video, Mr. Zhang's voice had transformed into a female voice, piercing but clearly audible. "I was pregnant with your child. You repaid kindness with evil, not only harming me, but killing me. You even slandered my boyfriend, claiming he killed me." This sentence essentially confirmed Mr. Zhang's identity. The down-and-out man who was taken in at the brick factory back, then a simple investigation would reveal him. Although the content of the video seemed very strange, they still decided to re-examine the case. Finally, the video footage reached the moment I got out of the car. It only showed me on the roadside, my hands reaching forward as if pushing something, my face terrified, eyes wide, cracks appearing at the corners of my eyes, my face covered in blood. The police officers exchanged glances, asking in confusion, "What is this situation?" I swallowed hard, intently watching the screen. The next second, the me in the video forcibly opened the car door, then crawled out. About 10 seconds later, the car let out an asterisk boom and burst into fierce flames. Seeing this scene, I was completely stunned. I really almost died. I was exonerated, but still needed to cooperate with the police to give my statement. When I walked out of the hospital, the sunlight was so dazzling it warmed my entire body. I took a deep breath, as if reborn. About a month later, the police called me to inform me of the final results. The murder case of the female brick factory owner had been reopened. After a thorough investigation, all the suspect's testimonies from his arrest that year were found to be problematic. Many details were verified, and the real culprit was indeed Zhang Chillify. Because fingerprints were not collected back then, he had escaped justice. Moreover, technology at that time was not developed, and there were no surveillance cameras in the brick factory. Zhang Chillify provided very detailed false testimony, ultimately leading to the wrong person being arrested. However, the net of heaven is vast, though its meshes are wide, it lets nothing through. The scoundrel Zhang Chillify had died in a car accident 15 years later. After half a month of thorough investigation, Zhang Chillify was identified as the real murderer. The boyfriend of the female factory owner, who was wrongfully imprisoned for 15 years, was finally exonerated, declared innocent, released, and received a large compensation from the state. But what about those wasted years? The most helpless thing was that the real criminal was already dead. The police finally said, "Don't spread rumors, don't propagate rumors, trust in science." Of course, I hung up the phone. It was dark now. I drove home to my residential area just as I ran into Mr. Liu outside. Mr. Liu asked me, "How are things? Are you really not driving night shifts anymore?" Driving what? I almost lost my life. Mr. Liu got into the car, and I seriously told him, "Mr. Liu, remember the rules, don't forget them." Mr. Liu nodded. "I know, your strange story has spread throughout our circle. Who would dare to make such a mistake again? 2 rules. First, after midnight, don't pick up anyone wearing red, especially women. Second, don't accept ghost money." Zhang Chillify had accepted ghost money. Perhaps from that moment, he was already marked in the ledger of life and death. Epilogue, Zhang Chillify. My name is Zhang Chillify. I am a wretched, miserable failure. That year, I wandered into the small town, penniless and dizzy with hunger. That's when I met Lily. The female owner of the brick factory gave me a meal, gave me odd jobs in the factory. Initially, I was very grateful to her, a kind-hearted person. But I started dreaming about her repeatedly. I liked her. She was beautiful, fair-skinned, full-figured, and when she smiled, she had 2 charming dimples. Every time I saw her, my heart felt like it was being scratched by cats. What would it feel like to take a woman like that to bed? This thought, once it arose, couldn't be suppressed. Fire always burned inside me. I would secretly peek at the slits in her cheongsam, so white. Her chest must be incredible. I noticed that when she talked to me, she actually smiled at me. Ha ha ha, she definitely had feelings for me too. What woman doesn't like men? I couldn't take it anymore. I really couldn't take it anymore. That night, I had a little to drink, gathered all my courage, and went to find her. I admit, at first I only intended to touch her a few times, nothing more, but she cursed at me. Dressing so provocatively, wasn't it to be looked at by men? Damn it, that whore. What was she pretending for? She wasn't a virgin. I pinned her down. Her body was so soft. This woman was indeed fragrant. She wanted to run. Could she escape? There were few people in this brick factory, and it was a holiday. Who would be here? She could scream until her throat was hoarse, and no one would come to save her. The damn woman actually called the police. No, she couldn't call the police. I panicked. I was afraid of going to prison. I didn't want to live that dark life again. I covered her mouth to stop her from screaming. I pushed down frantically, feeling like all the pores on my body were trembling. This was the feeling. Wonderful. I really didn't want to kill her, I just wanted her to be quiet. After all, such a wonderful person, how could I bear to kill her? But she kept struggling harder and harder. I didn't know what happened. By the time I was shaking all over, she stopped moving. I was scared, my mind blank. She was dead. I killed someone. What now? Her body was still soft, haha, couldn't waste it. After that, I regretted it. Such a wonderful woman, I couldn't touch her anymore. I dragged her to the brick kiln, watched the raging fire, and pushed her in. That's when I remembered the next steps. I couldn't go to prison. I thought of her boyfriend, that stupid man. Haha. In her room, I saw used condoms. That's right, there was also his hair on Lily's bed. They had argued that day. Ha, even heaven was helping me. I left those clues. I waited until the factory resumed operations before returning to the brick factory. It wasn't me who called the police, but Wang Gui from the neighboring village. That old man was easy to fool, he believed it immediately. We found a lot of evidence, placing all the blame on David. That unlucky man being a scapegoat for me was good enough. I succeeded. Everyone in the brick factory knew they had argued, and the police also believed it. The police arrested him and sentenced him, but his family also had connections, so in the end, he wasn't given the death penalty. What a pity. The brick factory no longer had beautiful women. What was the point of me being here anymore? I went to the city, watched the cars come and go. No need to think, what if I became a taxi driver? I could interact with all kinds of women. 15 years passed. I had learned how to use anesthetic a long time ago. This was the safest way. I thought I could get away with it. I thought I could continue to enjoy life. But I was wrong. I don't know when I started having nightmares. I dreamt of Lily. She was no longer as beautiful as before. Her body was torn and covered in fire. She lunged at me, clawing and demanding my life. I woke up with a start, drenched in cold sweat. I started to be afraid to be alone. I always felt like she was watching me. I spent money to buy a large golden Buddha statue, over 200,000 yuan. Damn it. But compared to life, what is money? The master told me that the large golden Buddha statue could ward off evil. I wore the large golden Buddha statue around my neck, and I felt a little more at ease. Sure enough, I no longer had nightmares. That night, I picked up a female passenger. I initially intended to use anesthetic to make my move, but then an even more beautiful woman arrived with a full chest and shapely hips, wearing my favorite cheongsam. I hadn't seen such a prime specimen in a long time. She got in the car, her thighs so white my lower body burned, but she wanted to go to the brick factory. Damn it, going there at night, I was still scared. But looking at the woman's chest, I still agreed. This kind of prime specimen couldn't be missed. When we arrived, the woman got out of the car. I stealthily followed. The woman turned to me and handed me money. Sorry, I forgot to give you the fare. Ha, this was money. Earning a little was good too. I took the money and put it away, about to use a handkerchief to cover her nose, but the woman stood still. Her eyes sent shivers down my spine, but what scared me more was when the woman asked me, Zhang Fa, do you remember Lily? Damn it, what does this woman mean? I was about to make my move when the woman suddenly disappeared. A living person vanished right before my eyes. I was so scared I kept backing away, and then a voice came from behind. Give me back my life. I understood. She was a ghost. It was Lily coming to take revenge on me. Luckily, the large golden Buddha statue was really effective. When Lily lunged at me, a golden light flashed on my chest. She screamed and then fled. I quickly ran out, wanting to drive, but I found Lily sitting in my car, staring at me, smiling. I couldn't drive. I could only run back, running until my legs were almost broken. Exhausted and hungry, I caught a taxi to Old Man Meng's wonton shop on the outskirts of the city and finally breathed a sigh of relief. That's when Mark arrived. This kid, I heard he was even in the military. A soldier with righteous energy? The master said righteous energy can ward off evil. My car was still at the brick factory. It was my livelihood. I asked Mark to come with me. Lily surely wouldn't dare to act. Plus, I still had the large golden Buddha statue protecting me. The master also said that in danger, the large golden Buddha statue could help me bewitch evil spirits and save my life. Heh, I thought I had a flawless plan, but I still died. I wish I hadn't needed that car, but it was all too late. Epilogue, Lily. My name is Lily, the owner of a brick factory. Since childhood, I was beautiful and had many admirers, but I never met someone who truly loved me. Until I met him, David, handsome and radiant. He was my first love, but he was too overbearing. Sometimes, men who are too strong don't understand that women need to be appeased. I thought that after our argument, he would come to comfort me. I was still waiting for him at the factory. Footsteps sounded downstairs. I thought he would come. I pretended to be angry, waiting for him, but I was wrong. The person who came up wasn't the man I loved, but that beast, Zhang Chillify. I adjusted my emotions and told him to go rest. I thought he came to persuade and comfort me. After all, everyone in the factory knew about David and my argument, but why were his eyes so strange? A sense of danger arose in my heart. I ordered him out. But Zhang Chillify advanced, touching me inappropriately. He kept saying he was comforting me, and I was truly furious. This man was so rude, but there was no one else in the factory right now. I couldn't provoke him. I just gently tried to reason with him. This seemed to have the opposite effect. He thought I was seducing him. My God, with that appearance, if I hadn't seen him as pitiful, I wouldn't have taken him in. I was wrong. I wanted to leave, but he blocked me. I slapped him. His eyes turned red and he lunged at me. He wanted to harm me. I resisted desperately, screaming loudly for help, but no one came to save me. He covered my mouth. I couldn't breathe. He pinned me to the ground. So brutal. My chest hurt so much. I felt like my whole body was being torn apart. My chest constricted. I was so short of breath. My eyes began to blur. I resisted desperately, but it was no use. I felt my life slowly draining away. I died. After death, I was further desecrated by that beast, Zhang Chillify, who pushed my body into the brick kiln. My soul was trapped here, unable to leave. Every day I lived in torment. I wished I could tear Zhang Chillify into 1,000 pieces. I don't know how long passed. The brick factory fell into disrepair and the fires went out. I found that I could go outside. I floated in the air, screaming tragically for revenge. Not just for myself, but also for David, the man I loved and missed. He was arrested. Epilogue, David. My name is David, Lily's former boyfriend. I will never forget that day when Lily and I argued. That lovely, foolish woman. Didn't she know? The old men in the factory looked at her with lust in their eyes. I couldn't stand it. I even wanted to fire them. But Lily didn't agree. She was too kind. Oh, I thought it was best to give her some time to think things over. I was wrong. When I came to the brick factory again, it wasn't to see Lily, but a group of police officers looking for me. They said I killed someone. The person I killed was the woman I loved. Damn it, how could that be? But so much inexplicable evidence pointed to me. Even people at the brick factory testified that Lily and I had conflicts and that I wanted to swallow up Lily's brick factory, which was why I killed her. There were too many traces of me in Lily's room. I couldn't argue my way out of it. My family was almost ruined, used many connections, but in the end, I was still sentenced. I spent 15 years in prison. These 15 years, I lived a life worse than death. Every day I thought of Lily. Every day I replayed our memories together. I hated myself. I hated myself for not protecting her. Every day I thought about getting out of prison. Once out, I must find the real culprit. For me, for Lily's revenge, I truly regretted it. If we hadn't argued that day, if I hadn't left Lily, she and I might have married long ago, would have a happy family and a lovely child. But everything was shattered. 15 years later, I was released from prison. Damn it, it was another wrongful arrest. Bastard. I received state compensation, but what good was it? My youth, my love, could never come back. I went to Lily's grave and placed a bouquet of flowers for her. I told her I was out of prison and I would avenge her. But the police told me the culprit was dead. Epilogue, Mr. Liu asterisk. My name is Mr. Liu, Mark's day shift colleague. Mark and I have worked together for several years. This kid is really good, he just doesn't believe in the supernatural. Understandable, he came from the military after all, full of righteous energy, not afraid of evil spirits. But this kid couldn't avoid it either. Luckily, he was smart and had installed high-end equipment in his car. Otherwise, he would have been finished. He told me he wouldn't drive night shifts anymore. I understood him and supported him. Anyone who goes through something like that would have psychological trauma. This kid even reminded me, after midnight, don't pick up anyone wearing red, especially women. Don't touch ghost money. He forgot these rules were what I told him. No more talking, still have to continue driving night shifts. Ahead, a woman waved for a taxi. I didn't even bother to look. Damn it, late at night. Who cares if you're a human or a ghost? Why wear such bright red?